Hey guys, what's going on? This is Swerve for you, and I'm playing Fallout 76 once again. Today we're going to revisit the bulk issue. Apparently, now that the update came out, 1.0.0.14, people are saying that, oh, Bethesda's changed it now and bulking things saves weight. Well, unfortunately, nothing has changed since my previous video. It works exactly the way that it did on 1.0.0.6. Nothing has changed whatsoever, but in order on this video, what we're going to do to absolutely disprove that, we are going to bulk one of every resource that is bulkable, and I'm going to show you absolutely that with the exception of 3 resources, none of them change weight. Aluminum and lead will lighten the weight, and acid will increase the weight. All the other resources are exactly the same, and we're going to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt. So, once again, we're going to look at my stash, and to prep for this video, I've completely filled it. 400 of 400, and just to show you that there's absolutely no room whatsoever, I have a single 5mm round. It is the lightest thing in the game. It weighs 0.001. If I hit space to store that in my stash, you will see it says, my stash box is full, meaning there is not a tiny ounce of space left in my stash. It is filled to absolute capacity. So, what we're going to do, and also you'll notice too, under my junk, I have 38 molded plastic in my inventory. That's because we're going to be bulking 19 items, and 19 items takes 2 plastic each. That's 38. There's actually 20 items you can bulk, but sadly I don't have 10 springs, to bulk because I use them as fast as I get them. So we're going to do every resource but springs, and you're just going to have to trust me on that one. So what will happen if you go to craft something? If the resources in your inventory, it will use those resources first. So as you see, as I craft these, my plastic count will gradually go down. I don't want to use any plastic out of my stash because you're not saving weight. Some people say, well, you're saving weight by using plastic. That's silly. The only reason you would bulk resources to save weight is if it actually cut down on the weight of the resource. If I wanted to save weight by wasting plastic, I'd just throw it away in the first place and not put it in my stash. So that's silly. So we want to make sure what's going to happen when I craft this. It's going to pull. So say that I craft, let's see, we'll look at my junk here. Say that I craft some bulk bone shards. Okay, it's going to take that amount of bone shards out of my stash, craft it, and put it into my inventory. So then we're going to take the bulk resource, put it back in the stash, because obviously we have to put it back in there, and then we're going to test it with our 5mm round to see that absolutely no space was saved whatsoever. The bulk resource weighs exactly the same as the regular one. So let's get started on that. We're going to go to the Tinker's Workbench where we do all of our bulking. We're going to go to bulk. We're going to skip acid because it's a special case. It actually increases the weight. You'll see all these have plus signs beside them. Well, that's very misleading. So if we look at adhesive, we're just going to run the numbers real quick. It takes 10 adhesive to bulk, and each adhesive weighs 0.05. So 0.05 times 10 is 0.5. The weight is exactly the same. Now, in order to see these numbers accurately, if you are, I'm going to show that real quick. If you are running a perk, such as Pack Rat, where the weight of all your junk items is reduced by 75%, it will alter these numbers, and they will be wrong. It will because that only saves weight when it's in your inventory, not when it's in your stash. So if you have that perk on, it's going to skew these numbers completely. You take all your weight reduction perks off before testing this yourself. So we're going to go to bulk. We're going to craft 1 bulk adhesive. Okay. Get out of the inventory. We're going to go in here. First, we're going to look at junk. We're going to see it did consume 2 plastic here, so no plastic was used out of my stash. You could look here and say, oh, the weight went down. That's because the bulk adhesive is in my inventory. So we're going to put it back in the stash. You'll see it goes in there, no problem. Go back to ammo. Our 5mm round will not go in there, meaning we saved not even the tiniest bit of space by bulking that. But we're going to do this for every resource. It's going to take a minute. But I do want to show once and for all, bulking is absolutely pointless for most resources unless you're going to sell them to vendors. The only way vendors will buy the resources on this list is if you bulk them. So if you want to sell them to a vendor, go right ahead and bulk them. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time and your plastic. You get 1 XP for doing it. There's a lot better ways to get XP than this. So we're going to bulk these bone shards. These take 20. They weigh 1. Okay. We're going to go back to the stash. We're going to look at junk, and we're going to see that, okay, there's in my inventory, it consumed 2 more plastic. Stash weight is down, but as soon as I put the bone shards back in there, it fills right back up. We're going to go back to our ammo and see we cannot put the 5mm round in there. 0 space saved. Next resource. We're going to do ceramic. 1 bulk ceramic. Alright, we're going to go back here. And we're going to go to junk. We're going to put bulk ceramic back in there. You'll see it continues to use the plastic. Stash weight goes right back up to 400. No space whatsoever. Alright, next resource is going to be cloth. 1 bulk cloth. Alright, we're going to put that back in there. Goes back in with no problems. And 5mm round will not go in the stash. Still no weight savings. Well, we're going to keep going. Concrete. Back to the stash. Put it in the stash. You can see it's still using plastic out of my inventory. And 5mm round will not go in there. Still no weight savings. Alright, next resource. Copper. Alright, we're going to go back to the stash. I know most of you have got the point by now, but I'm doing this for anyone who has the slightest bit of doubt, to just want to prove this beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's an issue that just needs to die. Again, we cannot put the 5mm round in there, meaning we have not saved any weight. One more time. Bulk cork. Alright, back to the stash. Put it back in there. Ah. That's interesting. Well, cork weighs 0.03. So it's possible there's a rounding error because of that, because now it will not go back in the stash. So actually, cork is a little bit heavier. That's a new one on me. Tell you what we'll do here. Oops, I don't want to do that. We'll take a couple 5mm rounds out. If it's a rounding error, taking 1 out should definitely let it go back in. Wow. That's interesting, because let's take a look here. Oops. At cork. Cork weighs 0.03 and it takes 10. It weighs 0.003. There should be no discrepancy there. That is very odd. It didn't save any weight whatsoever. Okay. Well, we'll keep doing this. We'll see how much it actually does, what the discrepancy is. We'll go 2. Still doesn't work. Alright. Tell you what, we'll just take 5 out. That should eliminate any kind of rounding issues. There we go. And we'll see if that does the trick. It does not. It's almost like... We'll take some heavier ammo out. I'm curious now. I was not expecting this. That's why we test it. Still cannot put that in there. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll keep working on the 5mm rounds. I'll just take 10, or we'll just do 20. Or we'll just grab a bunch out of there. See if we can get this to fit back in here. Okay. I'm somewhat confused now. Finally, we were able to get it go back in. Okay, so since we have 5mm analytic gauge, we'll see how much the weight increased. We'll put it back in there. We'll go for. See if we can put 20 in there. Okay. We'll try 10. Okay. Let us put 10. We'll do it again. Alright. Try this again. Alright. 10 won't work. We'll go down to 5. 5 won't work. We'll do 3. 3 won't work. We'll go down to 2. There we go. Okay, so the weight of cork increased by 55mm rounds, which is 0.05. So for some reason, when we crafted bulk cork, it actually increased the weight by 0.05. That's odd because cork is supposed to weigh 0.003. You multiply that by 10, that's even. So that's actually pretty interesting. So, alright. What we're going to do now is I'm just going to drop these 55mm rounds. So we're back to 1. Make sure the stash is completely full. Alright, and it is. So cork actually increases weight by 0.05. Duly noted. Alright. We'll go back to bulk. And we'll do fertilize. Alright, go back to here. Goes in with no problem. And stash is full. Alright, do this again. For gears. No problem with that. Still using plastic. And yep, will not go back in there, but it fits. Alright, we're going to do glass. Glass fits with no problem. No room left. Alright. Moving right along. Lead we're going to skip because lead does actually save weight. We're going to go to leather. Fits with no problem. And 5mm round will not go in, so no weight change whatsoever. Oil. Goes right in. No weight saved. Plastic. Now this is alright. Oh no. This isn't good. Okay. Thanks, Bethesda. So you'll see that it actually uses plastic's a little confusing. It actually uses 2 plastic to bulk plastic. So that's a little unusual. That's why we have a cost of 12. It's not separate. So plastic is actually going to be, if I do that, it's going to use it all out of my inventory. So we're actually going to skip that one as well. We will save it for last. Alright, bulk rubber. Alright. Goes in with no problem. 5mm round will not go in. No space saved. Springs, unfortunately, I don't have enough to test, but steel. I'm actually running low on steel. Surprising. Right. Junk. Goes right in, no problem. Okay, ammo. 5mm round will not go in. 0 space saved. Alright. Last item. Wood. Well, not the last item, but the last of the items that don't save space. Wood. Goes right in. 5mm round will not go. So as you can see, for every one of those resources that we have just done, none of the weights change whatsoever, with the exception of cork, which increases the weight. Definitely not what you want to do. Now we're going to look at acid. Acid is actually bugged. You can, there's another video I made that shows how you can duplicate acid. Basically the problem is the quantity to craft bulk is 10, but bulk acid scraps for 15, and the weight reflects that. So acid weighs 0.05, you multiply 0.05 by 15, you get 0.75, which is what it's actually supposed to weigh. But 10 acid should weigh 0.5, so it actually increases the weight by 0.25. The advantage is, of course, you can just take that bulk acid right back out, scrap it, and just continue to produce acid as long as you want. But we're going to do this knowing that it will not fit in the stash once it's done. Junk. Will not fit. So what we're going to do, we know that the weight changed by plus point, let's see, by 0.25. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take, let's see, what would that be at 0.005? We're going to take 50 caliber rounds out. That would weigh 0.25 exactly. Yeah, I guess that would be the best way to do it. I'll take that 50. Okay. Now we should be able to fit the bulk acid in, no problem. And it does. And if you see, we go to put the 5mm round in, it will not go in. So its weight increases as expected, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Again, if you need acid, you can duplicate it for free. If you check out my other video, it'll show you how to do that. Alright, so now we're going to deal with aluminum and lead. Aluminum and lead are actually going to save space. In fact, they're going to cut the weight in half. If you look here, aluminum takes 10 to bulk and weighs 0.5. 1 scrap aluminum weighs 0.1. 0.1 times 10 is 1 pound. It should weigh 1 pound, but it weighs a half pound. So it actually saves weight. So what we're going to do is we're going to craft bulk aluminum. Alright, and we're going to go to junk. And we're going to put it in, no problem. And what you're going to see is that the 5mm round will definitely go in. In fact, a lot more would go in. I'm going to show you, we're going to take it back out, so we want things to stay the same. I'm going to find something here that weighs a half pound. Let me see. We'll just put a half pound of ammo back in. So that would be, a half pound would be 100 rounds of 50 caliber ammo. We'll bring that up to 0.5, so we're just going to put in 100 rounds of that. I want to show exactly how much space was saved. Okay, goes in with no problem. And now you'll see our 5mm round will not go in. So by bulking aluminum, we saved a half pound. So I definitely recommend that you bulk that. And now we're going to do the same with lead. Oops, we're not crafting ammo. Let's not do that. Okay. Lead actually has a different quantity. It takes 20. But 20 lead also weighs 0.1. So 20 lead should weigh 2 pounds. It actually weighs 1. That's half of what it should weigh. Alright. I'm going to put that in here. Junk. So it goes in with no problem. And when we go to ammo, you'll see the 5mm round goes in because we have actually saved weight. So we're going to take it back out. And this time we're going to have to put in a pound of ammo, which in the case of 50 caliber rounds is going to be... These sliders do not work well. Oh great, sounds like I'm getting attacked by Scorched. 200. If the server would actually keep responding, it would help me making this video tremendously. There we go. 200. So that's one. We've put in 1 pound of ammo, and you will see now that the 5mm round will not go in. So again, lead cut the weight in half. It actually saves a pound to make that recipe. Alright, so the last one that we're going to do is plastic. So plastic consumes 12 plastic. That's 2 for bulking and 10 for the actual plastic. Now I want to show you, I have 2 plastic left. So it's going to use the 2 plastic out of my inventory, and then it's going to pull the 10 plastic out of the stash. Plastic weighs 0.05, so 10 plastic weighs... Let me get back into bulk here. 10 plastic weighs 0.5. As you can see, it's exactly what bulk plastic weighs. We're going to go ahead and do this. Go back to the stash. Junk. Bulk plastic, you'll see it's used all the plastic in my inventory. We're going to put that back in there. Back to our trusty 5mm round. It will not go in the stash. So I hope this clears things up once and for all. And we actually learned something today. Aluminum and lead are beneficial to bulk. They cut the weight of the resource in half. You should always do that. Acid, you should only bulk if you plan on duplicating it. I'll leave a link in the description to my other video that shows you how to do that. And cork, well, you should never bulk that because it actually increases the weight by 0.05. So I hope that cleared things up. If this video helped you out, give me a like and a subscribe. And the next video is going to be on placing camps, all the ins and outs of that. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Till next time, peace.